Hi, this is Drew Erickson back again talking about money, not math. I hope you're having a great day so far. Today I'm reading another article online on the businessinsider.com titled How to Recession-Proof Your Retirement Plans According to Retirees Who Made It Through the Great Recession by Liz Knueven. I'm sure I butchered that name, so I apologize, Liz, if you ever do watch my video. But she writes for the Business Insider, so it's possible she does not. So hopefully this conversation brings you value, and if you want to read the article, as always, I'll attach it. If you're listening to this as a podcast, you will have to go find my link, or I guess I'll try to include it on that as well. But either way, I hope it brings you value and kind of provides a couple of things for you to think about, especially considering how long we've had high markets. All right, so a few points to start out. They said getting ready for retirement is only made harder by a recession. But according to retirees who weathered the Great Recession, there are lots of things to do today to help protect your savings for tomorrow. So I'm not gonna read the whole article like I did yesterday, but I am going to just highlight a few of the points and respond to them. So they start out by saying the Great Recession hit many Americans hard between 2007 and 2009, including their retirement accounts. So a couple of things on that. They call it the Great Recession, but in reality, historically speaking, it wasn't the biggest recession we've had. It's more or less just the most recent. But that's kind of the scary thing, I think, from a psychological standpoint, is it's now been, depending on how you want to do that math, 13 to 11 years since the last time the market truly went down, right? The last time we truly had a recession in our economy. And from an investing standpoint, I find people really have a short-term memory. We've been going up for so long, we have unrealistic expectations of how the market's going to do going forward. Okay, so try to remember that on average, we have a market correction on about every 8 years or so. We haven't had one for 11 to 13 years. So it's possible, I'm not saying it will happen, but it's possible, especially with an election next year, that there might be some inconsistencies. I mean, we know every day the market's inconsistent, but there might be more dramatic. Okay, so the first point that they make, number one, don't panic and sell your investments. This part is talking about if you are invested in the market and the market goes down, human nature and emotion says we got to get out, right? We got to get out before it keeps going down. The problem with that is that if you listen to Warren Buffett, you want to buy low, sell high, right? So when the market goes down, by selling your investments at that time, you are locking in a loss. All right, so let's use another example, or let's use something that isn't the market as an example. If you own a vehicle, let's say you own a classic 1980 Dodge Charger. If next year the value of that Charger drops by 30%, are you going to say, man, I should really sell it now for a sale to the buyer? Or are you thinking maybe I should hold on to it until the price goes back up? Or on the flip side of that, if the 1980 Dodge Charger or whatever car you like goes up by 30% next year, now it might be a good time to sell because the price just went up dramatically. The problem goes back to human emotion. When the price goes down, we're like, man, I got to get rid of this. It's not worth anything. When the price goes up, it's like, oh, I better hold on. It might keep going up, right? So that's where the conflict of interest comes in many cases, and what hurts a lot of people when it comes to investing in the market. So if you are investing in the market, make sure you try to take emotion out of it and use logic, and hopefully you have a sounding board, whether that's an advisor, a planner, or just someone you trust to bounce ideas off of. Okay, and in many cases when the market's down, that's when opportunities become available. All right, number two, make sure your portfolio is invested safely. Now, all they talk about in this portion of the article is investing in the stock market itself and how you should adjust your asset allocation. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but I do want us to take a step back and recommend make sure your portfolio, meaning your financial plan, is invested safely, but also diversely. So ask yourself, are you 100% is your financial future 100% dependent on the stock market? If it is, that could be a problem if the market goes down, right? That's not really very diversified, no matter how many stocks you own. The second thing to ask yourself is, how are you invested from a tax perspective? Are all of your investments going to be affected the same way if there are tax changes made by the government, which we have no control over, right? We have no control over the market, We have no control over what the government decides to do as far as taxes outside of how we cast our vote. All right. So are you building a financial plan that is prepared for those changes? The market goes down or if taxes go up. And do you have money in places that will be affected differently if there is a recession, so that you have balance or different or multiple options? All right. Number 3, be prepared for anything. So I kind of touched on this, but they talk about how they weren't prepared. They had a recession, and they not only did they lose their jobs because of the work they did, this example being Ed and Cynthia Staten, not only did they lose their jobs because of the recession, their wealth went nosedive because they had all of their money tied up in the market. So again, are you planning for what you want to happen, but preparing for what could happen? Are you putting your money in a place that if there is a recession, you will still have options? Or are you going to be forced to, like so many in 2007 through 2009, are you going to be forced to either sell while the market's down? Are you going to be forced to keep working when you really didn't want to because you were planning a retirement? Or are you going to be forced to retire like these people? All right, hopefully your answer for those 3 questions was not yes. Hopefully we can balance your plan so that you have options, and something that's out of your control, like taxes or the market or a recession, which could be kind of one and the same thing, doesn't completely destroy you individually. All right, so like this is exactly what Cynthia and Ed Staten say. They say, by being flexible with their retirement plans, the Statens were able to make it through the recession, even if their lives took a little bit different than they expected. So to clarify, what they mean by that is they lost their jobs and they lost a bunch of wealth. So what they meant by being flexible is they moved abroad to another country, decreased their lifestyle just so they could try to live in retirement, just so they could try to maintain some sort of lifestyle. So unless you want your plan to be moving abroad or to a cheaper place, maybe we should think about how can we balance our plan. So as a recap, number 1, don't panic and sell your investments. Number 2, make sure your portfolio, and I want to use, instead of using the word portfolio, because a lot of people think just stock market, make sure your financial plan is invested safely and diversely, so your whole plan isn't dependent on one thing. Number 3, be prepared for anything. Plan for what you want to happen, but be prepared for what could happen. All right, so I hope this conversation brought you value. Please let me know what you think by leaving comments or reaching out. If you like the conversation, please click like, or even better yet, share it with a friend. And please, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye.